Hi, everyone. This is Bill Holton, and this is Field Trial Central Live. Tonight, we are on episode number 17. Tonight, we are lucky to be joined by John Resa. John is a field trialer and dog trainer from Missouri. John runs in the National Shoot to Retrieve organization, been really successful there for a really long time. John, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. I've had a number of requests for, some people would like to hear some, from the shoot to retrieve game. And, I know you've been successful there. I've seen your name back when shoot to retrieve trials were reported in the American Field. I saw it there a lot. And then I've seen it, elsewhere quite a bit. It just kind of popped up here real recently to me when the Purina had an article about your recent win at the Performance Classic with Jill. Is that right? Right? Yes. Yeah, great. Yeah. So tell me, let us give us a little introduction. Tell us how you started with bird dogs and started with field trialing.
Oh, well, originally my bird dogs, after I got married, my father-in-law had bird dogs, and I'd always had coonhounds all my life anyway. And got into bird dogs, and a couple of people that's passed away now talked me into running field trials, and that's how it got started. And I started out with pointers first, and then ended up switching over to setters. A buddy of mine had a setter, and I got hunting with him, and ended up with this Maggie Sue that won the Nationals in '95, and it revolved from right there, and I've been really fortunate since then.
Yeah, I would say so. So you started as a bird hunter, right? I mean, you were.
Yeah, I was bird hunting first, and I loved bird hunting. It got on my blood after my father-in-law got me started. Yeah, and got it to me, and I liked it. And yes, I was about as poor a shot you could get, but I kept at it.
Yep. And, so. Yeah. I think I remember you telling me you didn't grow up as a bird hunter. You grew up, running coonhounds, but once you got started with bird hunting, that kind of got the bite, huh?
It got me started, and up until, like I said, I had coonhound up till about 3 years ago, and he finally passed away, and I got it clear out of it, and got to train more dogs, and I've just stuck with that now, and train dogs and run and shoot to retrieve. So
okay,
it's been real fortunate. I've been lucky over the years. I've had some respectable dogs. So.
Yeah. So you mentioned Maggie Sue. Was that the first setter that you had that you ran in shoot to retrieve trials?
My first setter that I owned.
Wow.
That I owned. I run a little setter female for a guy, Jack Glover, and we got to bird hunting. And I run her to trial. Got second at Nationals with her, and I got a pup out of her, and this. Jack's dog, and that's where this Maggie come from, and then I won the Nationals with Maggie, and she's produced I think 12 or 13 national shoot to retrieve champions. One of the produced females in shoot to retrieve history. So that's I'm pretty proud of that.
I would think so.
Then it just revolved around what Reese's Mace dog that I had. He was a 17-time champion when I retired him, won a national with him and a top performance award. And then this Maisie was out of Mace.
Okay.
And I won 2 nationals with her. Now this Jill, she's out of Maisie.
She is. Okay. I was going to ask that.
It's all one line of dogs. It all started from basically the Jack Glover's dog, that Billy.
Yep.
Billy Sue, and then started with Maggie, won the national, and then I won 4 nationals with 4 different dogs. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So we were talking before. So Maggie Sue, first dog you had, first setter,
yes,
is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
There's National Shoot to Retrieve Hall of Fame, and then Mace was a son of Maggie.
Reese's Trouble Mace, son of Maggie Sue.
Okay. Sue. Yep. And then after that, the next one in the line was Maisie.
Maisie, she'll be in the inducted to the National Shoot Retrieve Hall of Fame this fall. Yeah, and so yeah, she won 2 nationals. I think it was in 96 and 94 or 2006.
Okay.
16, 2014. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 2014, 2016.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, to say that you've had some luck in shoot retrieve would be an understatement. It's not all luck, I would guess. We got a lot of good bird dogs there and a lot of work that goes into that.
It takes a lot of work. You give up a lot of stuff, regular hunting just to do this.
Yep.
I enjoy field trial. You meet a lot of people. That's what it's all about, having fun and meeting people.
Yeah. So one theme that we kind of go back to quite often in these conversations are mentors that we had when we got started. Yes. Tell me a little bit about some people that were around and were helpful for you when you got started in the game.
The 2 guys, one guy that got me started was Roland Pike, and he had bird dogs and talked me into going to field trial, and that's where I fell in love with it. And but a guy that taught me a lot was Bob Cunningham, which he's passed.
Oh yeah.
And I sat there and Bob didn't know me. I sat there listening to Bob talk, and I've stood by what he said that day, and I repeat that, that's we all look the wrong end of the dog. What Bob said, he said, I've been doing this a lot of years, but I've never seen a tail pointing bird. He said, it's all between the ears. And he's right. It's got between the ears, the nose, and then the tail. And he's right. And, and I've stood by that theory for years. And, it stands to reason that's the way it should be.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. That's, I've heard that from a lot of, when we talk about the great dogs that a number of the trainers that we've had on have had over the years. And when you talk about what sets them apart, it is always how smart they are, right? It's not just how well they learn, how well they've taken to training, but how they put it all together.
A smart dog can make yourself look really smart, whether you are or not. But
yep.
Yes, I've been fortunate to have some really smart dogs, and I've pulled some stupid stuff out there in the field, and they pulled me back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a smart dog is fun to have.
For people that aren't maybe don't follow shoot retrieve or haven't for a really long time, because we're going back. You started in this game back in the 80s,
middle 80s, yes,
middle 80s. So I remember Bob Cunningham, and I remember seeing a lot of those dogs showing up in the field and winning a lot. And I think when we were talking about your dogs in our Hall of Fame, I think we could find a handful of Bobs that were probably in there also.
Yes.
Throw some names out there of some of those dogs that you saw in the past that Bob ran.
Ace is King. First time I ever seen Ace is King, I'm sitting at the trial in January. It's cold here in Missouri. It snows on. And this dog's walking around the parking lot. And I'm thinking, who brought this collie around here? I never seen King. Pretty soon Bob yelled, King, get over here. And he looked like a collie, but he was a bird. He was a setter bird. He was black. He was a lot black, a little bit of white on him. And Master Mohawk Mike, that's my bloodline, years ago, it was a lot of fascist rebel bloodline over in Illinois. That was a big deal back years ago. On the setters, back here in Missouri, it was a Dale Lovall's. He's just right dog, his pointer, big pointer male. And I tried against those guys. And, I was young back then when trialing with those guys.
Yep.
They was 2 guys to look up to you, Bob Cunningham and Dale Lovall. So.
Sure. Yeah, it's great when you mention some of those names. I can picture some of those old dogs in the, that I used to see winning quite a bit because they won a lot of field trials, and it was nice seeing those dogs in, and it wasn't just those. It was, I was kind of a pedigree hound, and I always, I'd look and see those weren't dogs that I would see, in the field or where I was at, but I'd see dogs like those or the Tricky Dick dogs, and
right.
And I'd kind of follow them back and say, geez, now where do those match up? And I started field trialing in the grouse woods, and there was some of that fascist Nicky dogs, that ran in the grouse woods up in Michigan. I remember seeing back in the day. So
Yeah, that Fastest Rebel, I think they had a lot of grouse ridge in them.
Yep.
Grouse dogs, and yeah, and that's where they get a lot of natural point. I mean, they had a lot of point in them. So
sure. Yep.
But yeah, it's and there's guys up in Iowa that's runs to today that I was just back in running, and them guys are still running. Terry Prince, Frank Downs, they're still running today, and
Good.
Yeah, it's fun to see those guys out here still doing it.
Yeah, that's one of those things that we've always talked about. That is so great about this sport. No matter what level we're at or what part of the game, is the amount of people that we meet and the places we get to go. These dogs take us all over the country,
Yeah.
and we get to see a lot of different country and a lot of different people. Tell us about that. I assume that you've gone lots of places with those dogs.
Yes, I've been to Virginia to trial. Last year, went to Montana. Never been to Montana in my life. Went there last year. And, it was a good time. Didn't do no good, but it was a good time. Learning experience, and
Yep.
you got to meet a lot of people. Like I said, got to see the country. I've never been there. Same way when went to Virginia years and years ago. Went there. Good, like I say, it's a good time. You meet a lot of people. People come at me and hey, and hey, and I've forgot the names. I'm world's worst on names. But they can tell me what I was running, all that stuff back in, and it's kind of funny because, they at that time, I'm still pretty green back then, but, they kind of followed me throughout the years, and it makes me feel good,
You bet. You
So-
bet. So you're based out of Missouri,
Yes.
and locally, where do you trial mostly at?
Right. It would be the Midwest region, Osceola, Iowa, and Waverly, Nebraska. I belong
Okay.
to the Midwest region now.
Okay.
It's a pretty tough region. Probably one of the toughest regions in the shoot retrieve circuit. So
Yeah.
it's them guys. They've been doing it for a long time. So
Right.
They got the shoot retrieve's got a mentor program that young girls and guys comes up and them are a bunch of good guys up there that really help the young people, try to get started. They're trying to get new blood in there all the time. And that's what we got to have to play the game. So
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about that. I we talk about how do we get more people involved in dog sports in general, and how do we get them to get started? How do we get them to stick around? Tell me about the Shoot to Retrieve mentor program.
this mentor program is you go out and somebody basically has never run a trial, so you go out there and you walk with them and you tell them this is what I would. You can talk to them after when they're running, and you tell them this is what I would do if I was watch your other guy where he gets his birds. You go try to cut him off, and just be they will learn. The people that catches on, they'll learn how to do it. I helped a young lady last spring, and she ended up placing against and I didn't know her name at the time, but and it's funny because she ended after she placed, when we got talking, and now we're friends, but I had no idea who it was at the time, but she people like that's what you got to have to let them. They got the place, because it's a tough game.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot of fun, but you a lot of camaraderie, and you give each other a hard time, but it's all it's a good time.
Yeah, I bet. So in a case like that, you're helping a mentee, and you're the mentor. Now, if I'm right, later on in that, and another brace, you'll be running in that same field trial, correct?
Yes, matter of fact, the day she placed, I was in first place, and she ended up second place. One more bird, and she would have knocked me down. Which it is what it is,
Yep.
I got to laughing after she found her fourth, fifth bird. I think, what, one more bird, she's gonna get me. And I said, well, that's the way it falls,
Yep.
I would have been more happier, tickled dead if she beat me.
I could imagine that's true. Yeah, absolutely. It's you get out there and you're helping someone succeed in a sport that how tough it is. Yeah, it's really I think that's a great program.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, it's perfect. The thing about this little gal, so she's getting married Labor Day weekend. They was going to have a big dance. No, she said, I'm going to go to Osceola to the field trial. When I get married, I think she's getting married on Saturday. She's going to field trial Sunday. So there you go. She's hooked.
Yep. She's hooked. Yep. See that people get smarter, then they don't get married times like Labor Day. We don't get married when there's field trials happening. We do it a different weekend. We do it. Now it looks like to me, in the shoot to retrieve world, there are field trials just about 12 months out of the year, right? I mean, they're happening all the time.
Yeah. I think the Midwest does not. They usually shut her down. It starts up Labor Day weekend and go to like 1st November, and then they start up again middle of March and goes to about the end of June.
Okay.
End of May. But Indiana and Michigan, I think they hold just about year round over there. I'm watching both Indiana, Ohio. So yeah, and they'll treat you right. You go over there. It's a good place to get your feet wet. I don't care where you're at. This coming, I think there's some trials in Montana here in the next couple of weeks. They've got a national in Lewiston, Montana.
Okay.
For Labor Day, and if anybody's up in there, you ought to go to that trial. It's a NSTRA trial. It's close to where you live. Go see a NSTRA trial or just regular trials too. They got the weekend pre-trial. So yeah, but you can go about anywhere in the United States to run a trial.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link over here in the chat. Oops, that's the wrong one. I got the wrong thing saved in here. And I'm going to, that has a link to the shoot to retrieve website. There's a lot of information on the website. I think there's, you find a lot of schedules and, everything else that's going on in shoot to retrieve. They've really done a nice job with that. So I am going to share that in the chat. So people have,
they've also, a scholarship program for like their kids would. My kid ended up getting part of a scholarship because he was planting birds, and so he was involved in shoot to retrieve for years, and he ended up getting a partial scholarship and going to college. So they got help a lot of kids out, and so, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's great.
So I know the Illinois, they usually try to hold a Shriners trial. All donate money all to Shriners.
Okay.
Shriners Hospital.
Yep, I remember seeing that before. About the time that happened this year. I think I saw it, shared on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere, and I thought that's a great idea. The more things that we can do, and Greg Blair just kind of made a comment here, and I think that's kind of exactly what I was thinking. It's a very forward thinking organization, looking ahead with the scholarships and the mentor program. I think that's an awesome way for people to get started in the field trial sport.
There's birds are tough anymore. There's not a lot of wild birds around here where I live anymore, and it's in people's in bow hunting. So to get a dog, you spend a lot of time with it. You want to go, try to do a little wild bird hunting, instead of all tame birds. But if you can take your kid or grandson or out there bird hunting, find a covey, have some fun with them, just let the dog point, kick them up, and let your grandson or kid shoot at them. It's not about the killing birds. It's all working dogs. You got for me, I train dogs and run dogs. I like to see the dog work.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I think that's from what I'm seeing is that you're no different than me in the sense that it's way more about the dog than it is about the bird or getting a bird killed, and that's when I first started in field trials. I know there was a lot of it was to try to extend a hunting season, and I know that's where most shoot to retrieve guys I've talked to over the years, they feel the exact same way.
Right. And it does. When your bird season's over January 15th or January 1st or 31st, then you go to these trials and, you could run as many trials as you want to, make it last as long as you want to. some guys don't bird hunt their trial dogs, and some guys, I do. I bird hunt if I go and hunt my dog, he's going to bird hunt,
You bet.
Yeah, I think it just makes them better bird dogs.
Hey, I got a question over here that's coming from the chat room. Jack Glover says to ask you about all the dogs you train for other people. So do you do train for the public? You train from other people, field trialers and hunters?
Yes. I've got 4 right now, different dogs. And I don't try to do just 4 or 5 at a time, because I work full time with a full-time job somewhere else. So this is just a part-time job.
Sure.
But yeah, I've trained different dogs. I'm not gonna mention no names, but a couple of dogs won nationals, and
okay.
So yeah, and they've been runner-ups and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been fortunate, and just got lucky, I guess.
Oh, I that's very humble, but I don't think it's luck. I think there's knowledge and hard work that goes into it. So,
well, yeah, and it's when you get a smart dog, it's fun to work. I mean, that's the reward of it. You can go out there, if you train that dog, and then you got to compete against that dog. You always want him to do good. And somebody said, "Well, you train better than what your dog." Well, if I train him better than my dog, then I'll better go back to work and start training my dogs. So, it keeps me, I guess, on my toes.
Yeah.
If I train dogs, I want to try to do a good job.
Oh, absolutely.
But that keeps me wanting me to do my dog better. So.
Yep. So when you these dogs you've trained for other people, have they all been setters, or are we seeing some other breeds coming in?
I got 3 short hairs and a setter out here now. Brittany's, wire hairs, pointers. I've trained 4 or 5 wire hairs for a guy down in Texas, and just I didn't know nothing about wire hairs, but did Jeff Sterner from Texas, and smart dogs, just and just unbelievable. Like I said, all the dogs, if you get a smart dog, they're fun to train. You say, boy, you can do this for a living, but then you come across this dog that you usually beat your head against the wall with.
You bet. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They all, if they didn't need training, you wouldn't end up having to work with them, right? Sometimes. Hey, Greg Blair, our famous Purina rep, has a comment here, and I'd like to hear about this. He says to talk about the final brace at the last championship that you just won. Only a few points separated. Must have been nerve-wracking. Give us a little insight there.
Well, it's kind of, I knew what I was going to do, but then the other dog, they put basically 5 birds in each field. There's, fields connect. And I knew what I wanted to, and we took off, and the other dog went to the other field. And I went, oh, no, that's not that. He blowed me clear out, So I got my bird and went to the other field, and we just, me and Mark Gillespie went back and forth. Well, his dog, unfortunately, but fortunately for me, zeroed back. And I didn't have the opportunity to back. But
okay.
Anyway, I beat him by 7 points. And that's, it was a nip and tough. It was an hour brace, but I think we got it over in like 28 minutes, something like that. It was just dogs, even hot, the dogs are smelling unreal how they smell. It's hard to believe. And I was tickled to death. My dog, she never quit at all. And I'm talking 85, 90 degrees. And both dogs just done a really good job. I know Mark was disappointed because his didn't back, because he'd been backing great all time. Even but he just, I guess it wasn't meant to be what it amounts to.
Right.
But, and I knew when it come off field, it's going to be close. Neither one had that idea what was what, And I got him. I think it's 7 points.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty close. So I'm sure we have some shoot to retrieve experts watching us tonight, and I should probably just I was so excited to get started on this conversation. I kind of missed a few steps that I would normally do. One thing I guess we'll just point out, everybody probably has caught this already, but this is being streamed live on Facebook, being streamed live on YouTube. It'll be saved there for all time. So everybody make sure you go ahead and share this with everybody you know. these conversations are really priceless. To be able to get this information out into the hands of new field trialers, or get information going out to people that have been around for a long time. They love to hear these stories. So make sure you share it. Let's just spread the word of what we're doing. So, but that being said, I know there's people watching that they've never been to a shoot to retrieve trial. Kind of lay it out for us. What happens?
You come up there to Osceola or Waverly, just kind of stand around, introduce yourself, and tell them, you kind of like to watch it all. And I guarantee there will people take you underneath their wing and walk you around and introduce you to people. And and if there's time allowed, they'll sit back and you can sit there and maybe ride with the judge, and the judge will walk through. You can spend all day. The guys up there in Iowa at Osceola Trial Ground will walk you through everything. Great bunch of guys up there. And before you leave, you'll enter the trial. If you got a dog close, you'll enter the trial because they're gonna make you feel right at home.
Oh, that's great. So how many dogs are you seeing in local in your trials, whether they're in Waverly or Osceola?
We're filling most of the time. We're filling up 32 dogs.
32 dogs.
32 dogs.
Twice are we talking 2 days a weekend, or are we talking more than that?
2 runs each day. 2 runs Saturday, 2 runs Sunday. Sometimes the judge will judge day, run day.
Okay.
I just run 1 dog. Some guys run 2 dogs.
Okay.
Some might even run 3, but most time just 2 dogs.
So we're talking 128 dogs run on a weekend.
Yeah, it'd be 128 braces done. Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
You get each trial. You got A field, B field. Each trial is an individual trial. So A field is individual by itself, B field's individual by itself. Then you got the next day it starts all over again. So basically, there's 4 trials that weekend.
Are the fields that are they regulate? I mean, are they uniform in size?
I think Osceola is like one field's 40 acres, the other's 50.
That's pretty common around everywhere.
Nebraska's basically about the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
I like a big field myself. You get away from the other person. And you're not walking beside the guy all the time. So a small field, everything's over with too quick. You have a hot weather in a big field, it makes you work at it.
Talk to me a little bit about scoring. How are they judged?
The points is the way I'm judging dogs is, I like to see a dog hit the bird hard, and no flagging, no ticking, no stepping. If he flags, I'm gonna dock you on it. Stepping, same thing. Retrieving, you kill a bird, you got to stand right there. That dog got to bring it to you. The good retriever, he runs out, grabs the bird, and runs right back, and hands to you, right to your hand. That's a real nice retrieve. They're going to score anywhere on that retrieve, probably from 80 to 92 or 3. It's something spectacular to get you in the 90s. Water retrieve will get you in the 90s. A blind retrieve, a guy misses a bird, and the dog got to run 200 or 300 yards and run that bird down and bring it back. That's a good retrieve. If he brings that bird in and he drops it, that's tough luck. He's going to get hit pretty hard with it. You're down in the 70s.
Okay.
Mess around with it, you'll be lower than that. And, you got the obedience, ground coverage, what they got. You want the dog to, I like a dog to quarter, somewhat big, but quarter, that's a tough to judge. Score the obedience and ground coverage is really tough for me to judge because you just get in a rut doing it.
Yeah.
Now somebody in obedience, if somebody yelling out there 30 minutes, that's not too bad to score because you can pretty well know what you can get cut there. And there's 2 judges out there at the 15-minute mark. They run 30-minute braces. At the 15-minute mark, they try to switch, and we give both of them an equal opportunity to see the dogs.
Yep.
So, it's, and then, a back be an honor. You score from 0 to 75, and a really good bike a good bike is going to get you right at 70, and an extremely well bike is in the 70s, but, if you rode that bike in, you're looking,
Oh, sure.
on down,
Yep.
and he can be scored 0,
So we're no, when we talk about, okay, so we're scoring on a find, we're
Right.
scoring on ground coverage,
we
retrieve,
yes,
obedience,
yep,
and a back.
It's ground coverage is 0 to 100.
Okay.
Obedience 0 to 75. Ground coverage is a point is a 0 to 100. Retrieve 0 to 100.
Okay.
So it can go anywhere. It's a judge's opinion what he likes to see.
Sure. Makes sense. So, in a case where if you don't have obviously if you fail the back, right, that's going to be bad.
That's a 0.
That's a 0. What if you don't have an opportunity to back?
That's the breaks.
Okay.
Now, in a national championship trial, if you've never had an opportunity back, they will set a situation up where
Okay.
you do have a back, But
So go ahead.
It just like on Mark Deal where he had back early in the day, so he did. We both had backs early in the day, so neither one of us had to go back,
Okay.
But we was trying to get that back just to get higher scores,
Yep. So when you talk about that, these national trials, and we talk about what happened earlier in the day, you're running several heats in a day, several braces.
In that particular day, that week, I had run the national trial started on Wednesday, and I ran Thursday, and then I run again Friday, and then Saturday morning, I run, I think it's 3 times Saturday.
Okay.
Just to get to the hour heat.
Okay.
So dogs you better have them in shape in the hot weather like this. If you don't,
Oh, absolutely.
It's not gonna last. They ain't gonna last long.
Yep, absolutely. So when something popped up, and I just have to throw it in here because we couldn't do this without family members.
Right.
But I think we have a family member, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been through these same conversations, so it's important that we all know how important that the families are to allowing us to do this stuff.
Well, I got a little story on this deal. Here it goes. So yeah, my wife she does a great job taking care of the animals when I'm gone. But there this spring, I had a training dog, and the dog's gonna jump on her, just being friendly, but she stepped back and sprained and tore the ACL on her knee. And so I've been catching a pretty hard time on that deal, And
I would think so.
And about 2 or 3 days later, she tripped in the hole. So this, but yeah, it's and she's still on crutches today.
Oh, so. Yeah, that's no go. And Derek's here too. Oh yeah, we got your son here too. So
yeah,
we got a whole family event. It's great that you guys are involved. It's great that you're here joining us tonight. And I would love to have more great stories.
No, you don't want to hear no
more. Just so Derek, obviously someone did mention before that Derek was one of the greatest bird planters around. And I'm sure, those are things that you learn as a kid. They learn that when they're not only going to the field trials because they soak everything in, but also just in training, I would assume, right?
When he was young, he would go to these field trials. He wasn't, he was little, and he'd go to field trials with me. And when he got big enough, he got to plant birds, and he planted a lot of birds over the trials, over the years. And he handled a dog one time, but he did a tremendous bunch of field trial planting,
Yeah.
He planted all over our region. At that time was Missouri Show Me, and he planted every trial in Missouri Show Me a lot, week in, week out. So yeah, he did a good job.
Oh, that's awesome. So going back to some of the some of the bigger trials, and I hate to go that way because I just know how important all the weekend trials are and how accessible that makes the shoot to retrieve trials. But when we're talking about going to the national trials, what are the qualifications like to be able to go to those trials?
Well, at the dog of the year, to be qualified for that, you had to place in a regular trial. And that qualifies you to go to the regional. And then the regional, you got to run the regional to go to the dog of the year.
Okay.
And then the champion trial, you got to be a champion dog to run the champion trial.
Okay.
And then the other trials, you just got to enter so many. You got to be so many points.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. So tell me about winning a championship. What does that entail?
You got to have 9 first place points, 18 points altogether, but 9 of them has got to be first place. And then after that, after 9, and then once you get that 18 points, you're a one-time champion.
Okay.
Basically start over again.
Start over again.
Yeah.
Okay. So we went. We went first at a weekend trial with 32 dogs in it. How many points is that? That's
3 points.
3 points. Okay. All right.
Okay. Second place gets 2 points, and third gets 1.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. It's been a while since I've looked at that. I thought I kind of remembered it right, but I didn't know if it even had changed. So, yeah. Well, that's good. And then the big trials, like the classic that you just won, those are, designated a classic.
Right. Yeah. The winner gets 6 points there. 6 first place points. The second place guy gets 5 first place points.
Okay.
The third gets 4, and then 3. 6, 5, 4, 3. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'd like to just throw this up here just real quick because there she is right there. There is Jill right there. That is an awful nice looking setter. So and she's young, right?
3.5.
3.5 years old.
Yeah.
And so she won that trial. Has she finished a championship yet, or multiple championships, or where are we at with her?
She's almost a 4-time champion.
Almost a 4-time. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how many but she's just a few points short. Hopefully I can get this fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. And do you breed many dogs yourself?
No, in the past, when I had that mace dog, I'd breed, females. But Jill's mother, I bred her 3 times. She didn't throw very big litters at all, and
okay.
I plan on breeding Jill this fall, whenever she comes in. So, but no, I used to raise pups just to help pay to play the game, But
right.
I kind of got away from that, and just kind of stick with what just pick out the dog and trial it, but I'm gonna breed Jill and try to raise litter pups and see what come out of there.
Yeah. So when we let's talk a little bit about the training process. So tell me, obviously you're starting with, and let's just talk about, I mean, you're only running one dog yourself at a time. You're field trying one dog. So, kind of start when, you're starting, how you're starting them, what your thoughts are there.
I like to start my dogs at a year old. And it's just like people send me dogs to train, and it's just like what I've said for a long time. You send a dog, you send a kid to babysitter, you kind of straighten up. Well, the dogs do the same thing here. I'm basically the babysitter, and they straighten up. I have the hardest time training my old dogs because I'm letting them, when they're a year old, I let them get away with whatever they want, and then I'm trying to teach them, and they just don't understand. It's they've been getting away with this for a year now. Why can't they do it?
Yep.
And anyway, I will break a dog. These old guys told me you got to will break dogs first. I do it the old-fashioned way. I will break them, and what I do to kind of speed the process up is I will break them, force break them, and put them on birds all at the same time.
Okay.
And an old man. He's passed away now from Indiana. Had taught me how to do this, and He said, it worked for me, John, but it don't work for everybody. And I've stuck with that, and it has worked for me. You know, you just, you know, you can speed the process up.
Okay. And you force break
Yes.
force break to retrieve every dog.
Yep. I force break. Yeah. If they bring a dog here for me to start, I will break it, force break it. Yeah. And, force break is it. You know, it's not a bad job. It just it's intimidating at times. You know.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, about all your shoot retrieve dogs has been force broke.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of, and I think that, you know, there's, you gain a lot of different, I mean, there's a lot of stuff gained from force breaking them. And you're probably finding that when you're wool breaking them and force breaking them at the same time, you know, and starting them on birds. Well, I lost your sound there for a second, John. Can you hear me?
Right now, don't have no sound right now.
Okay, I can hear you. If you can hear me.
I think it's because I turned these headphones on there.
Yeah, can you hear me right now, John?
Yeah, I turned it off.
I can hear you just fine.
I turned mine off.
No, I don't have nothing.
How about now? Nothing now? Can you just touch that iPad? Did it go to sleep?
No sound.
I can hear you pretty well, and if you can hear me, maybe let's try this.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I can. Yep.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, right
I can hear
I
you.
can't hear you, so
Okay.
looking at it.
She'll get it figured out. You let me know if you can start hearing me here. I don't see anything that would have changed on my end. How about one thing we could try is there you go. Maybe, and then log back in. Well, sorry everybody. I kind of got to just thinking about ways that we might be able to get John back. Hopefully he can get back and hear me, and I can hear. We can all hear him. We got a few more great questions and stories. This has been a lot of fun. Learning a little bit more about shoot to retrieve. I know that they are running shoot to retrieve trials all over the country. Derek, that's exactly what I was thinking. That maybe it might have went to sleep. I've had that happen before, and hopefully they can make it back on. One thing I will point out, I mentioned it before, August 20th is today. We're recording this August 20th, 2020, and the National Amateur Pheasant Shooting Dog Championship started this morning in Circle, Montana. I think they drew, oh boy, I forget, 24 dogs or something like that, and they will be followed by the Montana Open Derby and then the Montana Open Shooting Dog Championship. This Sunday, Sunday in the evening, I will come on live and we will talk about results that have happened in field trials in the last week, maybe a little bit longer than that. We'll talk about some of the grouse trials that have gotten going out in Michigan, some of the walking quail trials that have gotten started, running in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. And I think there's a a good horseback trial running this weekend down in Kansas or Nebraska. So we'll talk about the results of those. We'll kind of see who's out there and running. We may have John back. Hold on, John, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know what happened.
The iPad might have gone to sleep, but you guys got it handled. So that's great. Well, John, I was just kind of filling in and talking about some of the stuff that's been going on around the country, and we're starting to see some field trials get going. So let's go back and talk a little bit more about the training process. So you will break them, force break them, and start them on birds all at the same time.
Yeah, I do that, and once I get them force broke, then I have already put them on pigeon a time or two, just break the monotony. And the way I do it is bring the dog into the bird cross wind. That way he smells it, and when he smells it, I tell the dog whoa. that way the dog will automatically, eventually, when he smells birds, woe comes to his head and he stops.
Yeah.
And then that way, if he starts moving on birds, he knows what woe is. And it's kind of the old fashioned way, but that's just the way I do it.
Sure. Well, and it's working.
Yes.
So tell me this about on the judging side, or maybe it's different. What are the manners of the dog around game? Are they broke, steady, wing, and shot, or some of them, or
There periodically you'll see somebody bring in dog broke the wing and shot and shoot the tree, but there's no advantage to it. None.
Right.
So, but that's what the person wants.
Yeah.
So that's what you want. That's fine. I've never broke a dog wing and shot.
okay?
Don't foul. I've done my dogs, but I don't do nobody else's just because I've never done it. Just play with mine. I'm just trying to get mine trial broke.
Sure. Yep.
So but I try to get them started, and then you can once I get the dog started, holding bird before it's broke, send him home. It's up to the owner to follow through with it. You cannot get the dog back from me, put in the kennel for a month, and go win a trial. It's not going to happen.
No.
And the dog is no better than the time you put in on it. You put a lot of time in on it, more like he's going to turn out. If you do the job right, he's going to turn out. So,
Yep.
So.
It brings back something that Keith Wright had mentioned to us, that Ike Todd said, just keep opening the gate. Just keep giving them opportunity.
Yeah. Young age like that, between 0 to a year old, they got to have fun.
Yep.
Some people, I've always took my young, when we had birds, they'd be 6, 7 months old and not know nothing, and taking bird hunting, and me and a buddy of mine was hunting one time, and this young dog didn't even have a name. He pointed two or three bird and a covey. We got back to the truck. I said, "You think I ought to name my dog now?" And so I did, but he didn't even have a name when we was hunting him,
Yep.
But it's fun to see a young dog. There's nothing any better to see a young dog make his first point, and if you know anything about bird dogs, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Oh, I sure do. To me, those things are really, those are the ones that really light your fire, and whether it's in the yard or even bigger for me is on wild birds, right? They getting their first wild birds pointed. So,
Yep.
Kind of a wild bird guy, and that's why I live where I do. And I, try to spend as much time as we can chasing wild birds, and that is, it's a luxury I have. But no matter where it is, and whether it's, pointing pigeons, on the back, 40, or if it's out getting them to go through the country and find them. That's what lights me up too.
It's not about killing them. If you like to, the dog work, just go out there and just kick them up and let them fly. Just, take a blank pistol. You ain't got to kill a bird. If you don't go, you can go buy some birds, tame birds, and shoot them and eat them, but the wild birds, they don't get no better. You can't explain that, that's what lights a dog up.
Yep.
Get them in them wild birds.
Yeah, they will really teach a dog a lot.
They teach a dog more than what you can. Yeah, that's right.
So what's your field trial schedule like coming up?
There's a national trial in Montana. I'm not going, but I'm sending my dog with a buddy of mine, and then when he comes home with it, then I'm going to probably run almost every weekend through September and October.
Okay.
Probably end. There's a trial after the dog year, and that'll be that I won't run anymore after be November, first week in November, I think, until next spring.
And where's the dog of the year trial run?
Dog at Amo, Indiana.
And how long is it run there?
It's run there as long as I remember. It and Champions, that's where it's all started at.
Yeah.
Bunch of old guys got field trial started there, and it's been there ever since.
Yeah. I thought that was the case. I knew it was there for a long time, and I thought it still was, and that's awesome to hear that. That's a lot of tradition there.
Yeah, it's a lot. They hold 3 fields there at one. And it'll start on a Wednesday, and that's a lot of dogs on every day.
Yeah.
But they've been doing it for, I guess in the 70s sometime. I really don't know how long they've been doing it. They've held that trial. A bunch of old guys got together and trying to extend the bird season. And I suppose most of them guys are gone now, you know.
I would assume so. Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a place.
Yeah. So do you get to do much hunting anymore? I mean, I know the quail are thin in Missouri these days, but are you doing any traveling and doing a little bird hunting?
Yeah, I went to Kansas last year. First time I've been out of Kansas quite a while. I went pheasant hunting. I thought, you know what, and it was a blast. The dog took 2 dogs with me, 2 owned, done a really good job of pheasant. It was mist and rain that day, and they held, and just couldn't believe it. We shot several pheasants, and I point some quail around here, but I didn't shoot none of them. Just kick them up and let them fly. Just have fun with them.
Yeah.
But I think they say there's some quail this year, so we'll see.
Good.
I hope there is. So.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And you're all done with the coonhounds.
I'm done with coonhounds. Yeah,
you sleep at night.
Yeah, I guess I'm old enough now. Yeah, I'm needing my sleep now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Well, John, you got any last words for people out there and thinking about maybe trying to go to a field trial, or where the best place for them to go is, or what they should do?
You get on this NSTRA.org and you go to the region, whatever region, and what state you belong to. You can punch up and it'll tell you where the trials are, and you can call the regional president or just go to the trial and introduce yourself. And I guarantee you they will take you underneath their wing. They'll show you what to do, and maybe even try to give you a bird dog somewhere down the line, and just to get you going. You can't beat it. It's a good time. You'll meet a lot of great people.
Oh, that's great. Well, hopefully some people take your advice on that. I do want to throw another comment up here that we had earlier, and this was I'm going to be watching for this young lady here. Yep, Katie Fuller. We're gonna keep an eye out. Make sure Katie, keeps going. And what kind of dog does Katie run?
She's got a really nice little setter female. That's the one I'm helping with on Mentor.
Yep.
She placed that day. A really nice little female, and I think she ended up buying a new gun. She's one to get married this Labor Day, but she's going to go to trial. So,
good.
She's hooked. But
that's good, Katie. We'll be watching. I'm glad you're here watching us tonight, and I'm the more people we can get going to field trials and just go and that's what I've always said. We get a lot of questions, John. I know you've had people call you over the years and ask you what it was like to go to a field trial, or what how do I learn, and really the only way to learn is by going, isn't it?
Yeah, going, ask questions. They're like saying,
yep.
Get your feet wet. If you're new at a trial, ask somebody to walk with you, because if you don't know the ropes, and there'll be somebody to walk with you.
Yeah, how's that mentor program work as far as that goes? Say someone like Katie or another new person that's here tonight shows up and they say, hey, I've never done this before. Is there any? They just talk.
A lot of times you'll say it's somebody. So a lot of people will step up. Hey, I'll go with you, and you just and I'll show you. And that's what happened. Katie, hey, somebody walked her. Yeah, I'll walk with you. And she ended up placing, which is great. I walked with her 3 times that week, and I think at one of them runs, I said, "You're on your own. You've done good enough."
Yep.
And she done.
Yep. Good. Well, I've kept you for quite a while tonight, John, and I really appreciate you coming on. This has been very, very informative, and I'm glad that the Shoot Retrieve keeps growing and is moving forward. One thing I guess we should just talk about a little bit is all the Shoot Retrieve trials, and I assume a lot of the dogs are registered through the UKC, correct?
Yes. UKC is yes. We're going through sponsor. They're one of our sponsors.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Super.
It and Purina.
I know Purina's a big sponsor. We've had Greg Blair on here tonight. Greg is a real big supporter. He started his field trial career and bird dogs in the Shoot to Retrieve world, as did a number of other, pretty prominent field trials out there. So it's a great place to get started in bird dogs, and you may stay in Shoot to Retrieve your whole life, and you may, move on to other events. It's just, and anything that to me that people can do with a bird dog and have fun, I think is awesome.
Yep,
I think it's great.
There's a lot of games out there to play with it. With bird dogs, you want to play with them. So
You bet. You bet. All right, John. Hey, I'm gonna let you go. We'll sign off for tonight. We'll be watching, and we'll probably do this again sometime. We'll talk about how the seasons are going.
okay, thanks for having me.
You bet. Thank you.